Welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel, coin collectors, historians, and curious minds. Today, we take a deep dive into a small yet fascinating piece of New Zealand's numismatic history, the 1989 no-mint Mark 5 cents coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. While it may appear modest in size and value at first glance, this coin carries layers of historical relevance, subtle design artistry, and collector intrigue that make it worthy of close examination. So sit back and join me on a journey into the coin's origin, design details, mintage story, collector value in 2025, and why some believe this humble 5-cent piece might be worth far more than just its face value. To understand the significance of the 1989 5 cents coin, we need to travel back to the 1960s, a time of major monetary transition in New Zealand. In 1967, New Zealand officially adopted decimal currency, replacing the old imperial pounds, shillings, and pence with the dollar system. Along with this shift came the introduction of several new coin denominations, including the 5-cent coin. The 5-cent coin was designed to represent the low denomination spectrum of the new currency. Although small in value, its role in everyday transactions was critical. It quickly became a common sight in wallets, cash drawers, vending machines, and children's piggy banks across the country. Now let's take a closer look at the coin itself. The obverse of the 1989 New Zealand 5-cent coin features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II. The portrait used during this period shows the Queen in her mature years, adorned with the royal diadem, an elegant and stately depiction that conveys continuity and regal dignity. On the reverse side of the coin, we find one of New Zealand's most iconic reptiles, the tuatara. Often mistaken for a lizard, the tuatara is actually a unique species that has survived since the age of the dinosaurs. It's a fitting symbol for New Zealand's ancient and isolated natural heritage. The creature is depicted perched on a rugged rock, set against a background of coastal elements. The design is intricate yet balanced, combining biological realism with stylized elements that speak to the coin's artistic craftsmanship. As for the technical specifications, the coin is struck from a cupronickel alloy, a durable combination of copper and nickel. It has a diameter of just under 20 mm, weighs slightly under 3 grams, and features a milled edge for easy tactile recognition. Its compact, silvery appearance made it practical for circulation and resistant to corrosion over time. Now, we arrive at the focal point of today's discussion, the 1989 no-mint mark issue. The absence of a mint mark on this coin is not necessarily an error or anomaly, but it is worth discussing because it highlights a common point of confusion among new collectors. During the time this coin was minted, New Zealand coins were often produced by foreign mints under contract, most notably, the Royal Mint in the United Kingdom, as well as mints in Canada and Australia. In many cases, these coins were issued without any identifying mint mark. The 1989 5-cent coin follows this convention, and as such, the lack of a mint mark is entirely normal for this year. However, that doesn't mean every 1989 coin is identical. Minor variations in die strike, condition, and even metal toning can make some specimens more desirable than others. And while there are no widely recognized minting errors officially associated with this issue, vigilant collectors always keep an eye out for off-center strikes, die cracks, and double dies, any of which could dramatically increase the coin's value. The 1989 5-cent coin was struck in large quantities to meet the demand of the day. Millions were circulated throughout New Zealand, and they quickly became one of the most commonly used denominations in everyday life. Over time, However, economic and practical factors led to the coin's eventual withdrawal from circulation. In the early 2000s, the rising cost of producing low-value coins began to outweigh their purchasing power. Public usage declined, and maintaining them became inefficient for the Reserve Bank. As a result, in 2006, the 5-cent coin was officially demonetized. It was removed from circulation and ceased to be legal tender, along with the old 10 and 20-cent coins, which were simultaneously redesigned and downsized. This phase-out has since given the 5-cent coin a nostalgic and collectible appeal. Once common and overlooked, it has now become a tangible artifact of New Zealand's past, a coin that no longer serves a monetary function, but still holds cultural and historical value. When evaluating a coin's rarity, numismatists consider three main factors: the number of coins minted, how many have survived in collectible condition, and the level of demand among collectors. For the 1989 5-cent coin, the original mintage was substantial. However, over the decades, a large portion of these coins have been lost, discarded, or damaged beyond collectible standards. Coins that remain in poor condition, with heavy wear, tarnish, or corrosion, typically command little more than sentimental value. But coins in excellent condition, especially those that have been preserved in protective cases, remain uncirculated, or exhibit unique features, can draw the attention of collectors and sell for significantly higher prices. It is worth noting that New Zealand decimal coins from the late 20th century are still gaining traction in the numismatic world. While they may not yet command the same premium as pre-decimal or silver content coins, interest is steadily increasing, particularly for high-grade examples and complete sets. Let's now turn our attention to the coin's value as of the year 2025. Naturally, market values fluctuate based on condition, grading, demand, and the method of sale, whether through auction, private dealer, or online marketplace. Nevertheless, we can establish some general ranges to help collectors understand what to expect. In heavily circulated condition, the 1989 5-cent coin may sell for a modest amount, often less than $1 or the equivalent in local currency. These are common examples that appeal primarily to beginner collectors or those seeking a filler for a year set. In better grades, particularly coins classified as very fine, extremely fine, or about uncirculated, the value typically ranges from a few dollars up to $10, depending on eye appeal and strike quality. Uncirculated specimens, especially those with original luster and no signs of handling, can command higher premiums. In mint state grades, the coin may be worth anywhere from $15 to $25, or more if sold in a high-demand setting. Coins that are slabbed and graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC may receive even greater attention, especially if they are awarded high numerical grades or designated as having a special strike or finish. So, is the 1989 New Zealand 5-cent coin a good investment? While it may not skyrocket in value overnight, it is a solid choice for those building a complete New Zealand decimal collection, or those with an interest in Queen Elizabeth II coinage. Its affordable price point and ease of acquisition make it ideal for novice collectors, yet its historical context and eventual rarity provide long-term appeal for seasoned numismatists. What adds to its charm is that it represents the final decades of small-denomination coinage in New Zealand. The coin tells a story, not just of Queen Elizabeth's reign, but of economic shifts, changing technologies, and the evolving habits of a nation. Collectors are advised to store their coins properly in acid-free holders or coin flips, avoid unnecessary cleaning, and keep an eye on auction trends. As with any collectible, provenance, condition, and timing are everything. thank you for joining me on this numismatic exploration of the 1989 no-mint mark New Zealand 5-cent coin. Whether you're a serious collector, a curious historian, or someone who just stumbled upon one of these in an old drawer, I hope this video has shed light on the story behind this small but significant piece of coinage. The 2006 Queen Elizabeth II New Zealand 10-cent coin with no mint mark, a piece that blends royal legacy, national symbolism, and the subtle quirks of minting transitions. Whether you're a serious collector, a casual hobbyist, or someone who just stumbled upon this coin in change, by the end of this video, you'll know everything there is to know about its origin, characteristics, varieties, rarity, and most importantly, its value in the current market of 2025. Sit back, grab a loop if you have one, and let's uncover the story behind this small copper-toned coin that has captured the attention of collectors around the world. To fully appreciate the 2006 10-cent coin of New Zealand, we have to travel back in time, specifically to the year 1967, when New Zealand officially decimalized its currency. This major economic shift replaced the traditional pounds, shillings, and pence system with a new decimal system, and with it came a series of redesigned coins. The 10-cent coin replaced the old shilling and maintained a similar size and composition. For many years, it was struck in cupronickel and had a weight of over 5 grams. On the reverse, it featured a stylized Maori carving, known as a karuru, representing the face of a Maori ancestor, surrounded by traditional decorative elements. On the obverse, the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II stood proudly, a constant symbol of New Zealand's constitutional monarchy. For nearly 4 decades, this design remained largely unchanged. But by the early 2000s, economic considerations and technological advancements prompted the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to reevaluate its coinage system. Rising metal prices and the cost of producing large coins that had low purchasing power led to the decision to redesign and reduce the size and weight of several coins. In 2006, this transition was put into effect. The 10-cent coin, along with the 5 and 50-cent pieces, was downsized and recomposed using a more cost-effective copper-plated steel material. The result was a coin that looked noticeably different, weighed less, and had a magnetic core, a practical improvement in manufacturing, but one that introduced a unique duality within the same year. Now, 2006 is where things get truly interesting. Because this was the transitional year, both the old large-sized cupronickel coins and the new smaller copper-plated steel versions were technically produced. However, only the new, smaller coins were released into general circulation. The older, larger coins dated 2006 were minted exclusively for collector sets and were not issued for public use. What this means is that 2 very different versions of the 2006 10-cent coin exist: the small, light, magnetic circulation coin, and the larger, heavier, non-magnetic collector coin. But both feature the same date, 2006, and both depict Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the iconic Maori carving on the reverse. Yet, they are completely different coins in terms of physical attributes and market desirability. This duality is at the heart of the coin's collectability. Most people will only ever encounter the small copper-plated steel version, which is plentiful. However, the larger 2006 10-cent coin is considered rare because of its extremely limited mintage and distribution exclusively in mint sets. Complicating things further is the fact that neither version carries a mint mark. This is typical for New Zealand coins, as the country does not generally include mint marks on its circulating coinage. However, in the context of global collecting, the absence of a mint mark has led to confusion, and sometimes sellers incorrectly describe the coin as being rare solely because of the no mint mark characteristic. In truth, the absence of a mint mark in this case is standard, not exceptional. Let's examine the design and physical specifications more closely. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, facing right. This effigy was created by British sculptor Ian Rank Broadley and became widely adopted across Commonwealth nations from the late 1990s onwards. The Queen wears the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, and the design is noted for its realism and mature depiction of the monarch. Encircling the portrait is the legend reading, Elizabeth II, New Zealand, 2006. The font is clean, well-proportioned, and reflective of modern numismatic design conventions. On the reverse, the coin showcases a stylized Maori carving, known as a karuru. This design is rich in cultural symbolism, representing the ancestral heritage of the Maori people. The bold symmetrical pattern and flared rafter design surrounding the mask evoke traditional Maori meeting houses and artistic motifs. As for physical details, the small 2006 coin weighs approximately 3.3 grams. It measures around 20.5 millimeters in diameter. It is made from copper-plated steel, giving it a reddish gold tone. It has a smooth edge and a magnetic core due to the steel content. Meanwhile, the collector-only version weighs over 5 grams, has a larger diameter of about 23.6 millimeters. Is composed of cupronickel, giving it a silver appearance. Is non-magnetic, and only available in uncirculated sets. So how rare is the 2006 no mint mark 10-cent coin? The small-size copper version was minted in very large numbers. Tens of millions were struck for circulation. As such, it is not considered rare in its standard form, and circulated examples are extremely common. However, its collectability comes into play in two specific scenarios. First, if the coin is in mint condition, particularly if it has been preserved in an uncirculated state, it may attract interest from collectors building high-grade sets. The better the condition, free of nicks, scratches, and wear, the more desirable the coin becomes. Second, the large-size collector version from 2006 is extremely rare by comparison. Only a few thousand were issued, and they were never released into public circulation. These coins exist only in mint or proof sets and are seldom seen on the open market. Because of this, they command a significant premium. In addition, error coins from this year have been reported, though they are not widely documented. Possible error types include off-center strikes, die clashes, planchet flaws, or misaligned dies. Should a genuine error coin be confirmed and graded by a professional service, it could be worth substantially more than a standard example. As with all coins, condition is key when determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P, all the way to mint state, MS, with further refinements such as MS 60, MS 63, MS 65, and beyond. A coin in circulated condition, with visible wear and loss of detail, will typically only fetch face value or slightly more. A coin in uncirculated condition, showing no signs of wear, strong luster, and sharp details, can command a modest premium. A coin in mint state, especially MS 65 or higher, may be highly desirable to those assembling complete sets. For the larger collector version, condition is even more critical. Because these were only distributed in sets, most are already in very good shape. However, the difference between a coin that has been stored properly in a climate-controlled environment and one that has been handled or exposed to humidity can significantly impact value. Now let's discuss what really matters to collectors and investors: market value in 2025. As of today, a common 2006 small-size 10-cent coin in circulated condition typically sells for its face value or a slight premium, usually not exceeding $1. Even in better-than-average shape. A high-grade uncirculated version of the small coin might be valued between $1 and $3, depending on the buyer's interest, presentation, and whether the coin has been professionally graded. A 2006 large-size collector-only 10-cent coin, preserved in mint state and with its original packaging, can fetch between $20 and $75, depending on condition, demand, and provenance. Exceptionally well-preserved specimens from original proof sets may exceed $100, though such sales are rare and usually reserved for specialist auctions. Verified error coins, should any emerge, are subject to collector demand and uniqueness, and may fetch significantly more, though authentication is crucial. So, is the 2006 Queen Elizabeth New Zealand 10-cent coin with no mint mark a hidden treasure? In most cases, no. The standard version is abundant, modern, and was minted in high quantities. But if you happen to possess a mint-state example, a rare error, or especially the elusive large-sized collector version from that transitional year, then you may indeed be holding a small but meaningful numismatic prize. For collectors, this coin represents a fascinating moment in New Zealand's monetary history, a year of change, modernization, and legacy. And for new hobbyists, it's a reminder that even the smallest coins can carry big stories. We're diving deep into the story behind a coin that many people overlook, the 2008 New Zealand 20-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, with no visible mint mark. At first glance, it may appear like just another modern coin, but as we'll uncover, there's more to this piece than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just curious about that coin sitting in your change jar, stay tuned, because we're going to explore this coin's history, design, mintage, rarity, collecting myths, value potential, and what it might be worth in the current market of 2025. The 20-cent coin in New Zealand is part of the country's decimal coinage system, which was introduced in the mid-20th century. It replaced the older pre-decimal system inherited from British coinage. Over the decades, New Zealand's coinage has undergone several changes, in size, metal composition, and design, reflecting the country's economic adjustments, inflation, and evolving identity. In 2006, the New Zealand government undertook a major coinage reform. This led to the introduction of smaller and lighter coins, including a redesigned 20-cent piece. By 2008, the coin had fully adopted these updates. The coin issued in that year is what we are focusing on today. What makes the 2008 coin particularly interesting is that it features no mint mark, leading many to believe it could be rare or even an error coin. We'll discuss that idea later, but for now, let's focus on the physical features and artistry of the coin. The obverse of the 2008 20-cent coin features a well-known and globally recognized portrait, Queen Elizabeth II, the long-reigning monarch who has appeared on the currency of more nations than any other individual in history. In this coin, she is depicted in her mature years, with a calm and dignified expression, wearing a tiara. This effigy was used widely in many Commonwealth nations and carries a sense of continuity and stability. On the reverse, the design reflects New Zealand's deep respect for its indigenous Maori heritage. The central motif is a carved representation of Pukaki, a revered Maori chief, whose image was based on a traditional wooden carving. His face is shown in a frontal position, with bold, symmetrical lines that are stylized versions of moko, the traditional facial tattoo patterns. Surrounding the image is the coin's denomination, 20 cents, along with a distinct seven-sided scalloped edge, often referred to as the Spanish flower edge. This gives the coin a unique tactile feel and helps it stand out among other circular coins in circulation. The coin itself is composed of nickel-plated steel, a change from the earlier cupronickel version used in older issues. It weighs approximately 4 grams, with a diameter of around 21.75 millimeters. The metal composition was chosen not only for durability but also for cost efficiency, reflecting broader global trends in modern coinage production. Now, let's talk about the detail that has sparked curiosity and confusion for years: the lack of a mint mark on the 2008 coin. A mint mark is a small letter or symbol on a coin that identifies the mint where the coin was produced. In some countries like the United States, the mint mark plays a crucial role in determining a coin's rarity and value. However, for New Zealand standard circulating coins, the absence of a mint mark is entirely normal. That's right. The 2008 20-cent coin does not have a mint mark, and it was never intended to have one. This doesn't make it an error. It doesn't mean it was a secret or rare issue. It simply follows the standard production practice for that series. The majority of coins minted for circulation in New Zealand during that era, especially those produced overseas under contract, did not include a mint mark. Still, many people unfamiliar with coinage conventions mistake the absence of a mint mark for an error or rare variety, leading to inflated assumptions about value. While that may be disappointing for some, it's important to separate myth from reality when assessing a coin's true worth. The 2008 issue of the 20-cent coin saw a very high mintage. Tens of millions of coins were struck and released into circulation. This level of production means that the coin is not rare by default. You're likely to find it in circulation, especially within New Zealand, and many examples remain in everyday use. However, what makes a coin valuable over time is not just how many were made, but how many survived in excellent condition, or whether any unique varieties or minting errors have surfaced. We'll explore those possibilities next. The most important factor when evaluating any coin's worth is its condition, known in numismatics as its grade. Coins are generally graded on a scale from poor to mint state, often using numerical values like MS60 to MS70. The higher the grade, the better the condition, and the more potential value the coin holds for collectors. In the case of the 2008 20-cent coin, most circulating examples are well worn, with visible scratches, loss of detail, and tarnish. These coins generally have little to no collector premium and are worth no more than face value or slightly above. However, if you possess a coin that has remained uncirculated, with sharp details, original luster, and no damage, it falls into a much more valuable category. These coins are harder to come by, especially after years of handling and use. Coins that have been preserved in protective cases, included in official mint sets, or professionally graded and encapsulated by certification services can fetch multiple times their face value in the collector market. While the standard 2008 coin is common, there's always a possibility, however slim, that error coins exist. These could include off-center strikes, planchet defects, double dies, or misaligned elements. Such coins are usually 1 in a million occurrences, but they can command significant premiums depending on the nature and visibility of the error. If you believe your coin has unusual features, such as doubling in the text, design shifts, missing elements, or odd coloration, it may be worth submitting it to a professional grading service for authentication and evaluation. Collectors are often willing to pay far more for unique error coins, and some of these can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on rarity and market demand. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. What is the 2008 New Zealand 20-cent coin with no mint mark actually worth in the year 2025? As of now, market trends suggest the following general price ranges. In heavily circulated condition, the coin typically sells for between 20 and 50 New Zealand cents, or roughly 20 to 30 US cents. These are coins found in pocket change or coin jars, with significant wear. In lightly circulated condition, with clearer details and less damage, values can range from 1 to 2 New Zealand dollars, particularly if sold to beginner collectors or included in bulk lots. In uncirculated condition, where the coin shows no signs of wear and retains its original mint luster, the value increases significantly. These coins may fetch 3 to 7 New Zealand dollars, and sometimes more in online auctions or coin shows, depending on the buyer's interest. In professionally graded condition, with a grade of MS65 or higher, the coin could command $10 to $20 or more, especially if encapsulated by a major grading service and presented attractively. If a rare error or variant is confirmed, values can be significantly higher, though these are extremely uncommon and must be verified by experts. To wrap things up, the 2008 New Zealand 20-cent coin is a fascinating piece of modern coinage. While it may not be rare in the traditional sense, its cultural and historical significance, along with the enduring presence of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, makes it a meaningful addition to any New Zealand coin collection. If you own one, examine it closely. Look at the details, the wear, the edges, and whether any errors or unique characteristics appear. Keep it in a safe place if it's in good condition. And if you come across multiples, consider building a small collection around New Zealand's decimal coinage history. While this coin is unlikely to make you rich, it holds value beyond dollars and cents, as a piece of living history, a reflection of design evolution, and a snapshot of a monarch's reign. Thanks for joining me today on this deep dive into the 2008 New Zealand 20-cent coin. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins from around the world, rare finds, valuable errors, and collecting tips, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell, and let me know in the comments, do you have one of these coins? Have you found any in excellent condition or with unusual features? I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, happy collecting, and remember, every coin in your pocket could be a piece of history.